Hi guys, welcome to today's app talk session. I see people already coming in. That's pretty cool. So while we wait for the other people to join, I would actually like to pull up a poll that we prepare as always. So today, I'm always the same host. I'm Rebecca from App Radar. And today I would actually like to know if you're already running Apple search ads, and if you are, if you use App Radar to do keyword research for that. While we wait for the people to come in and for you guys to fill out the poll, I will just write some things in the chat so that we don't forget about them while we are in the webinar. Okay, this did not work out so well. So I hope you're all as excited as I am for today's topic, because we are talking about how to leverage Apple search ads. And wait a second. Good. Good. So let's see what we're talking about today. Today we're talking about the difference between Apple Search Ads Basic and Apple Search Ads Advanced. Then we're going to talk about keyword research, how to set up a campaign, and also how to do regular optimization for your ads. And finally, the most important KPIs for your business. As you know, and as I just wrote in the chat, you can win a free consulting call with us today. Please fill out the form in the chat to participate in the raffle, basically, and we will then write to the winners and to book a call, basically. And of course, feel free to leave questions in the Q&A section. We will answer them either at the end or in the follow-up email, where we'll also send you the webinar recording in a few days. Yes. Can just someone write me in the chat if the link for the raffle worked for you guys? Or let's say in the FAQ. Okay. No feedback, then I will suppose it works. If it doesn't, yeah, wait, someone wrote. Yes, it's working. Awesome. Thank you, Anuk. Thank you, Matteo. Thank you, everyone. Awesome. Perfect. Then let's get started. I will stop the poll now. Just saying, most of you are running Apple search ads, and most of you are actually using App Radar for doing keyword research. That's pretty cool. So let's see what else we can show you today. So today we have two very cool panelists. We have, well, actually let them introduce themselves, and then please let us know everything you need to know about Apple search ads.
Cool. Yeah, I'll go. Thank you very much, Rebecca, for the nice intro. I'm Elena. Some of you might know me already. I'm product marketer and app marketing expert here at App Radar. Yeah, basically helping our clients to grow the app through organic and paid user acquisition. And that's also why I'm super excited about today's topic, and especially also about having our special guest, David, here today, who is, yeah, in my eyes, really the performance marketing guru here. And I'm happy to give over the stage to him now.
Yeah, hello guys, hello everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Rebecca, as well, for the nice intro. Well, I'm David, or who we say in Spain, David, working here in App Radar since last year, more or less, but with more than 5 years of experience in the user acquisition field. And yeah, it's really cool to be here. Let's see if we can find some cool insights.
Good, then let me jump on the Apple search ads in a nutshell. So I basically want to, just for those who are less familiar, it's great to see on the one hand that a lot of you are already running Apple search ads, but just to make sure that we are all on the same level. And especially because I said I'm super excited about the topic, let me tell you why I think it's, in some ways really a unique channel, and what makes it worth also exploring that kind of platform to grow your app further. No worries, David will then take over and go into details on how to start and structure campaigns to get the maximum value out of it. Yeah, I mean, Apple search ads in its base, I think it's important to say that it is the only channel for paid promotion within the Apple App Store directly. You have there the search tab list and the search results, and those are the only areas of the Apple App Store where you basically can run paid ads. And yeah, obviously based on that, because it's only in the Apple App Store, you will be targeting iOS users compared to other platforms on Google USC or Meta where both can be targeted. And I think what is here also, I mean, one of my topics that I always highlight, if you've been part of some previous webinars, I always emphasize the importance of combining organic and paid user acquisition. And I think that paid promotion channel also shows it very clearly, because it takes automatically screenshots, title and subtitle you have in your store listing, confirming here also kind of the importance of ASO, unless of course you go with the new iOS 15 features and make use of custom product pages and kind of try to customize your search result campaigns. Yeah, Rebecca, then please, if you would just go to the next slide. Yeah, here, I mean, I touched now the topic of search results and search tab campaigns, just quickly showing on how it would look like within the store. And why I now believe that those Apple searches are really a good way to grow your app is, on the one hand, it is a native channel. And as I mentioned before, it is happening directly in the store. So people who will be entering, they are already hopefully or probably looking for an app, so they will also have a much higher search intent and will be much more likely to download your app. And yeah, of course, it gives you a possibility to appear first on relevant App Store pages and serving at the same time as a valuable branding tool. And I would say also, most importantly, if you will reach at some point a level where you're putting, if you're focused on App Store optimization on the organic side, where you are reaching a level where you will not be able to compete against other big competitors. And it gives you also a possibility here to put your app ahead of competitors, even if they have very good App Store optimization. But if you bid on a good amount on relevant keywords, it gives you also a possibility here. And yeah, I mentioned it now already. I mean, the competitive bidding, and also, I mean, one way that you can use here is brand protection, so kind of running brand campaigns here. And last but not least, I think it's also very nice to use it, again, the synergies of ASO and ASA, and discover new keywords. On the one hand, use the ones from ASO and try to bid on them. And on the other hand, the keywords that you discover within your campaigns, you can also, again, do it reverse engineering and include them in your campaigns. Yeah, and then I think when we talk now about the decision on which model to go, I think there is somehow the question, which direction do I go with? Do I choose Apple Search as basic or advanced? And yeah, out of those two options, I would say the decision for me, my recommendation is clear, but I would give you just quickly an overview. I mean, the basic version, it might sound tempting at the first sight, due to very minimum effort required. You basically only set up the campaign goal for specific countries and put in the campaign budget and the maximum cost per install, and you are good to go. However, what comes with that is as well that, and why I actually recommend against it, is that you will lose very important insights of Apple Search Ads. You will kind of be blind about the keywords your ads are being placed at. And yeah, in other words, basically you give away the control and the power to Apple mostly. So that's why this is one of the reasons I think we would all would clearly recommend to go with Apple Search Ads Advanced. In case you're not doing that now, I would really clearly give it a try, because you will have the full control and transparency over your campaigns. And most importantly, you will decide yourself which keywords you will bid on and how much you will bid on them. And yeah, but here I think with great power comes also great responsibility and more effort that you need to put into optimization and so on. So this is why we are here today, to explain you also to best go about it and to get the most out of your Apple Search Ads Advanced campaigns. And yeah, one more slide for me, I think. Yeah, when we go now into work, I think when talking about iOS campaigns, Apple Search Ads, it's a super important topic, the keywords. When you've been part of some other webinars of us where we talk about Google, I think we highlighted very clearly that it's the creatives, but I think here it's really because you bid on the keyword level, it's also super important to understand the different ways to bid on keywords. So Apple offers here the 3 different types: the exact match, the broad match, and the search match. And basically, the last of these is a type of targeting where you don't need to input any keywords. You basically let Apple serve what they think it is relevant to your app, and they will check then it based on your store listing, and based on the information you have there, it will kind of categorize your app. Yeah, like I would say in a nutshell, the exact match, it will go to specific search terms, close variants. Here, I would say, yeah, why we recommend this is, yeah, of course, it might have fewer impressions than your broad match, but at the other hand, you will have an increased relevancy and focus, hopefully. So also the conversion rate should be higher here. Versus the broad match variant, where it will match your app to the widest or to a wide pool of related search terms, such as well synonyms, plurals, misspellings, and so on. And here I would say, of course, it can save you time to build keyword lists, but at the other hand, it might also happen that you just appear to really not relevant keywords and will spend way more. And the other option, yeah, the search match I highlighted now in the beginning already. I said it automatically matches your app, and based on information that you have in your store listing, based on similar apps in your category and other search data that might be relevant for your app. So it could help you to discover here new keywords, especially I would say when you are kind of new in the market or new for eigen markets and want to try to figure out some new options that you might have not considered before. And we put here also the negative keywords, because I think it's an important point to remember to make a good use of those in your discovery campaign, removing what you already bid on elsewhere, and avoid also to get displayed for certain search terms, and trying to filtering out unwanted search traffic, and thereby again controlling costs and improve efficiency. And yeah, how can you now find those keywords for your campaigns? I would say on the one hand, it's of course, obviously, as I mentioned before, trying to combine the both worlds. If you already put effort into optimizing your store listing and you have your keyword list, then make sure to also include them in your campaigns and bid on them. And kind of everything you do around here, also when it comes to competitors. I think competitors is actually a good buzzword that I did not write, or that we didn't write on that slide, but also looking into which terms, which keywords competitors are bidding on. And yeah, using there also tools such as App Radar, where you can check also which keywords are competitors bidding on, that on the one hand, and getting inspiration from there, but also from an ASO level, checking out in your ASO tool like App Radar, which keywords others are ranking on, and then reverse engineering here the different topics. And then, yeah, obviously discovery campaigns can give you a great option also to find new keywords, as I mentioned before, and then putting them again with keywords that you find there under the according ad group. And last but not least, I would say, yeah, brainstorming is always a good option. I mean, make sure that most importantly, those keywords are relevant to your app. Think about all the different features that you provide and really try to be, yeah, kind of gathering all the different ideas through different ways here. Now over to David.
Cool. So it's my turn. Can you go to the next, Rebecca, please? Okay. So let's talk about the structure in Apple Search Ads. The first thing that we need to know here about Apple Search Ads is, since the system is based on keywords, we need to know that there is an intention behind these keywords. There is an intention behind the search of the user. So obviously, every intention will be different depending on the keyword that we are targeting. This is crucial to decide about the campaign structure for your Apple Search Ads campaigns. Obviously, the budget is also a very important variable in this field, because you need enough money to spend in all the keywords that you would like to appear for. In this regards, here we have a recommended structure where you can control the money and also get values, insights about the performance of every category. Obviously, when you create campaigns in Apple Search Ads, it's important that you are aware of your limitations in terms of the money. In this regard, this structure is dividing the categories in 4 groups. But as you can see in the graphic, there is one group which is different. This is the discovery campaign. Normally, we are adding, we're using only exact keywords in the brand, in the generic, and in the competitors' keywords. And then we have an additional campaign just to discover, that's why the name is Discovery, to discover new keywords that can be interesting or that maybe you are missing in your campaigns. These campaigns, this structure depends on your budget. So in the case that you don't have a big budget for your ASA campaigns, then you need to simplify everything. Obviously, this is the most recommended structure, but as I told you, in case that you need to be more precise with the money, then you need to split up the campaigns in only 2 groups, one for the exact, one for the discovery. I think we will talk later about the keywords of every ad group, but at this point, I think that it's we have to stand out that the ad groups have the possibility of being optimized by CPT, but also you have the option to set up the CPA limitation. The CPA limitation will help you to control the cost over the installs, but it's not that precise. So sometimes you can find situations where you are overspending. Yeah, maybe you can go next, Rebecca. Cool. What we have to keep in mind about the bidding model in Apple Search Chats is that you are paying for every tab. The tab is when the user clicks on the ad. So obviously, this tab or the possibility that your app is appearing for a specific keyword depends on few factors. First of all, is the relevance. The algorithm of Apple Search Chats needs to read your app and all the search terms that are related to your app. Keeping in mind that, you will have the option to set up a cost per tab. This cost per tab is simply how much are you willing to pay for a single tab, single click. Since we have these 2 variables, the relevance, but also the CPT, these 2 variables are like depending on each other. This means that you cannot spend in keywords that are not relevant to your app, and it doesn't matter how much are you willing to pay, because if the algorithm detects that your app is not related to that keyword, then you won't get any single impression. Obviously, you also have the competition. That variable will affect to the possibilities that you have to appear for that specific keyword. The highest bid in that case, the highest CPT, will be the winner of the auction, and therefore the app with the higher CPT will appear in the first place for that search query. About the budgeting and how to decide about the CPT that you need to put into the campaigns. Normally, the system is recommending to you, based on the numbers that they have, a recommended CPT for your campaigns. But obviously, this can be confusing sometimes because seasonality is also affecting to your campaigns. There will be moments where the CPT is much higher, for example, in Christmas than in summer. What I recommend here in order to set up a correct CPT is to look for benchmarks for your category. So for example, if you are in games, mobile games, there are a lot of reports, even Apple is able to deliver benchmarks about specific categories and subcategories for your app. So you can now more or less how much the competition is paying in that category, and therefore set up your CPT, keeping in mind, obviously, your limitations in terms of the budget. Yeah, I think here it's more or less everything. Now, one important thing, which is also new, is that Apple Search Chats is removing the lifetime budget. When you set up a campaign in Apple Search Chats, before you had to select a lifetime budget and also a daily cap, but this daily cap was optional. Now Upper Search Chats is removing the lifetime budget, and the system will work only with daily caps, like other platforms like Facebook, for example, Google Ads, TikTok, or whatever. Cool. Well, this is what I told before. Since the relevance and the keywords are depending on your app. If you are not relevant for a specific keyword, it doesn't matter how much money you are willing to pay for that. You won't get any impression. So here we can say that we are not the ones who decide when and where we want to appear. The algorithm is also taking some power over us. Please go for the next. Okay, now regarding search tab campaigns, well, this campaign is another type of campaign that was introduced in 2021, more or less. The first the first bidding model was about CPM, and currently it's still about CPM, so cost per 1,000 impressions. But now they are also moving to the CPT. Until July, we still have the CPM model, but on July onwards, we will have to work with the CPT model. The search tab campaigns are campaigns that are quite different than the search results campaigns. Why? Because your app will appear before than the user is searching for a specific term. This means that there is no clear intention. The user is not still writing anything in the search query. Obviously, this will affect to the performance of this campaign. You cannot expect similar performance in the search tab campaigns or than in the search results campaign, because since we don't have that intention behind the user, we cannot expect the same quality in terms of cost, in terms of engagement with your app. It's not the same, for example, when you are looking for football games, and then you get football games in the search query, than before you are starting to write football, and then you see already the app. Obviously, you don't have the intention, and then it's not the same quality in terms of traffic. In order to set up this campaign, it's quite simple. You just set up the CPM that you want. Then in July, you will have to set up the CPT. And then you have some refinements for, just going a little bit more narrow, like the device, customer types, obviously demographics as well. And also, if you want to avoid the new and returning users, you can also play with these two options. Obviously, this campaign don't require keywords because the algorithm is automatically linking the app to the moment that the user is not searching for any keyword. And as a recommendation, we are normally using this type of campaigns when the brand awareness is not that high, and the brand campaign cannot work in the same way. So this search tab, since you are generating a lot of impressions, this campaign can help to increase the brand awareness and to boost the traffic of the brand keywords. Cool. Now let's jump into the optimizations. In this case, it's quite clear. We are going to play with three scenarios where that maybe you already got in some moment. The first one is what happens if I don't get impressions for the keywords that I have in my campaigns. The second one is how much should I increase the bids depending on my goals. And the third one is how to decrease the CPA or increase the conversion rate of the campaigns. Cool. Let's jump into the first one. What happens if I don't get any impressions for the keywords that I set up in my campaigns? Obviously, here we play with three variables. I will say that the first one is to check if the keywords are actually relevant for your ads, because if they're not, then the algorithm is not going to push your app before than one app that is actually related. The second will be about the CPT, about the bid that you have for that keyword. There are some situations where your CPT is maybe lower than the competition, and that's maybe the reason why you are not getting impressions for that keyword. Here we play with the CPTs, increasing them bit by bit, obviously, to don't lose the control. And as a third option, obviously playing with the ASO as well, in case that you are not using some keywords for your metadata, but you would like to appear for them, it will be recommended to use them in ASO in order to start to get some organic traffic, and then the algorithm can relate these keywords, these terms to your ads as well. Cool. The second scenario is how much should I increase the bids? In this case, obviously, we always recommend to increase the bids bit by bit, step by step, because the last goal of a user acquisition strategy is to stay with the highest control possible. As an average recommendation, we play with the 20% of increase for the CPT, but you also have the CPA goal for the campaign. So in case that you see that you are having some super high CPTs, and even with that, even decreasing the CPT, you cannot like control the CPI, we recommend to use also the CPI limit. So you will have more controls, and obviously monitor the results every week to make the specific actions to control the cost. And the third one, for me, that will be the most interesting, is how to decrease the CPA, the cost per install, and how to increase the conversion rate. Well, here there are many ways to increase CPAs, decrease CPAs, to increase the CR, but the ones that are more effective are obviously, first of all, you need to increase the keywords that are working fine for your app. Keeping in mind your benchmarks, you have to see which ones are performing better and then increase them 20% by 20%. Obviously, you have to avoid to overspending keywords that are not that efficient. So decrease the bids that are not performing fine. And optimizing the creatives, I would say that it's now a very important topic in NASA since they introduced the custom product pages. This allows us to optimize the experience of the user, and therefore the conversion rate will improve much more. And as the last point, obviously delete directly, with no doubt, the super expensive search terms in the discovery campaign. Cool. As a recap, obviously we can stand out some points in order to optimize correctly and properly the campaigns of in-app search ads. First of all, we need to increase the best performance because this will allow us to scale our campaigns. The second part is to delete the keywords that are causing a high cost. So either adding them as a negative keywords or decreasing the CPTs. Obviously, having in mind that your structure is depending on your budget. So in any case that you want to scale, please keep in mind that budget is super important to adapt to every situation. So in that case, yeah, it's quite obvious that if you want to structure the campaigns correctly, the budget is playing a super important role. Then the time to research new keywords, obviously with ASO tools like AppRadar or others. Also looking at the competitors to see that to see if you are missing some important keywords. Here, the ASO tools are also very useful because they allow us to discover new keywords. And then obviously avoid the overspending of the extra keywords, adding them as a negative in the discovery campaign. If you don't do that, then you will be overspending in the discovery and spending the money twice for the same keyword. So this will be like a mandatory thing in upper search ads. And obviously play with the ASO as well, combining both strategies, just selecting the best keywords that you want to boost with your ASA campaigns in order to also get the best performance in the ASO site. Cool. Then now about the most important KPIs. This is quite easy to understand. I guess that you already know all of them because they are also visible in other ad platforms. But let's go from the surface until the deeper KPIs. The first two KPIs that you need to look for is the CPT and the CPM, because they will give you an insight about the competition in that moment for your category. Analyzing these two costs will allow you to see if it is a good moment to advertise your app or not. Again, this is going to depend on your budget. If you have enough budget, then you can compete in the highest seasons. But if not, then it's super important to keep in mind that these two KPIs will tell you if you are in a good point to go with your ASA campaigns. Then obviously the CPA and the TTR, also the conversion rate. These three KPIs are super important. First of all, the CPA, because it's the most important one, the cost per install. This is the KPI that will tell us if we have to increase or decrease the CPT. And then the TTR and the conversion rate that will tell us if the campaign, the visual elements of the campaigns are working properly, and if we need to implement some changes like A/B tests, custom product pages, or wherever that it's necessary to increase the engagement with the ad in itself. I don't see the entire slide. Yeah, it's okay. So obviously we have to keep in mind the funnel. We already know that the first step is the impression, then we get the tabs, and then the installs. If you have MMP, obviously you will also get some deeper KPIs like signups, purchases, tutorial completes, or wherever that you have implemented in your MMPs. Every single step is gonna affect to the performance of the campaign. So it's very important that we take care of every part of the funnel. How we can change or improve the TTR. Obviously, the TTR is depending on how the ad is looking for the users. The title, the subtitle, the reviews, and the icon will affect to this TTR. So obviously, if something is wrong, if you compare that your TTR is much worse than the competence, this means that you need to work in these elements in order to improve that. The same applies for the conversion rate. If you see that the conversion rate is much lower in the brand campaign than in the competitor campaign, or in the generic campaign than in the competitor campaign, maybe you need to create customized experience with a custom product page, adding specific screenshots and adapted screenshots for creating a customized experience for the search of the user. Then after the install, obviously we can also attribute we can attribute that the performance of ASA is like affecting to some deeper events like signups, in-app conversions, like purchases, like tutorial complete, as I told before. But in this case, it's more difficult to calculate properly if these events are actually being affected by the search of the user or by the product. In this case, we recommend to work in both fields, the product and also the campaigns, in order to get, first of all, the best CPA possible. And then if we see that even with a good CPI, we are not getting a good CPA in terms of cost per event, then we need to work in the product, because the product is also affected to this deeper performance, let's say.
Okay, thank you for all the pretty cool insights. And also thank you guys for all the questions, but we're already a bit over. But I have a few good news to tell you before we go. So first of all, I don't know if some of you saw, but we are going to release AppResearch Insights within AppRadar soon. So start connecting your Google Ads, and then you will see the little AppResearch icon there. So stay tuned. in this regard, we would love to hear your insights on app researchers in general. So if you want to be part of a focus group, feel free to reach out either to Elena or to me. We'd be happy to talk to you guys about your insights on app researchers. And last but not least, since you all know, David is in our in-house app marketing agency, and if you're still not sure how to go now about with app researchers, or if you want some insights on ASO or Google Ads or any other pay-to-aid channel that you are running, feel free to write directly to sales@appradar.com. They'd be happy to consult you. And there's always still the possibility to win the free consulting. So don't forget to fill out the form that I sent in the chat. Elena also sent her email address in the chat. Note it down, please. And let's talk. Thank you guys so much for joining. Thank you, Elena, and thank you, David. It was very, very cool insight. I also read some feedback. And for your questions, guys, don't worry, I will answer all of them in the follow-up email. We will talk about everything that you asked. So thank you all. Have a nice afternoon or morning or wherever you are in this world. And let's see you next time. And please don't forget, next month there's no webinar hosted by AppRadar. We are on a summer break. That's it from us. Thank you guys and goodbye.
Bye-bye. Thank you guys.